Well, I want to thank you for having me here. I noticed that we have some guests from China, and that reminded me of one of my psychic predictions. Every year, at the beginning of the year, I do psychic predictions for the Santa Maria Times. And one of my psychic predictions this year is, you all know, we owe the government of China trillions of dollars. All that stimulus money and bailout money we borrowed from China. Well, China literally has been sending out some economists on what we call the rubber chicken circuit. And that rubber chicken circuit, those economists are saying we need some collateral to back up this debt.
Give him Obama.
And well, my psychic prediction was that the United States of America was going to sell California to the Chinese government as in exchange for the debt, and the voters in California would actually approve of it because China's centrally controlled government is more business friendly than the one we have. Now I'm going to start off this discussion with things could be worse. We know how bad it is for the construction industry right now. Instead of building literally hundreds of homes, or 1,000 homes, I think Santa Maria had 11 homes built in the last year. 9, Robert tells me. 9 homes. Let me tell you how much worse it is in other places and why there is a glimmer of hope here, but that doesn't mean there isn't a lot of work for us to do. On December 26th, the day after Christmas, I got up at 5:30 in the morning to go to Orchid to be on a radio show in Ohio. Some folks were out here visiting relatives. They host a show. The guy's a contractor. He's a building contractor. He's built hundreds of homes, several subdivisions in Ohio. He's been there for a bazillion years. And he had this show that was probably one of these like fix-it kind of handyman type shows or whatever, but the economy got so bad he started transitioning into economic issues. And his relatives here listened to my show, so they asked me to be a guest. Well, in my world right now, we're fighting in the middle of this recession where we have 11 homes built in the biggest pro-business, pro-growth community on the Central Coast. We're still fighting an increase of fees, regulations, including for your construction equipment, mitigation fees, taxes, everything. We're fighting all this stuff in the middle of this recession. And in San Luis Obispo County, and we're starting a collab up there, they passed a thing called Smart Growth. And Smart Growth is supposed to dump all of the density and all of the growth into urban areas, whether it's incorporated or not. Dump all this mythical growth into these communities. They call it Smart Growth. It ends urban sprawl, which ends the commute, which is going to save our planet from global warming. That's the way they think. Well, I've been banding around this term smart growth for a long time, and I brought this up on the show. It says in Ohio we have smart decline. And I thought he was kidding me. He wasn't kidding me. And this just shocked me because that we live in such a different world. Flint, Michigan, back in 1965, was estimated to have a population, growing to a population, their master plan was to grow to 350,000 people. They topped out at 200,000 people. And now they're at 112,000 people. This is what they're doing in what's called the Rust Belt. They have so many distressed properties, foreclosed properties, delinquent properties, and abandoned properties that the counties and the cities have had permission from the state of California to condemn them, bulldoze them, take out all the infrastructure in terms of streets, sidewalks, sewage, water, and rewild the properties or go to open space. Their land use policy is smart decline. They are planning for the abandonment of major sections of their cities. Now, part of what's going on there is their politicians, and I had them on my show today, their politicians failed to plan for a transition from their historic, for instance, steel mill town or pottery. They had most of the plates. Brooks Firestone, who was from the Firestone family, once was in speaking engagement, told me how all 4 of the major tire manufacturers were all in Ohio at one time. They're all gone. The steel mills are gone. All these businesses are gone. They did not transition, so now their land use plan is smart decline. Now, we have a problem in the state of California. Even though agriculture is the mainstay of our local economy, ag is being priced out. Do you know what an acre of land costs in Carpinteria? Ag zone land is $200,000 an acre in Carpinteria. There's only 2 crops you can grow and even attempt to carry $200,000 per acre carrying cost. Cut flowers and marijuana. Now, maybe California will transition to marijuana considering who we have in Sacramento. But right now, they put a ban on greenhouses because they lead to visual blight in the community. There's a ban, a county ban. Now, let's move up here to Santa Maria, a bright spot. The city of Santa Maria just permitted, or is in the process of permitting because it's staged, a 5.8 million square foot greenhouse at the corner of Black and Betteravia Roads. Over 5 million square feet. The city of Santa Maria started permitting that project before the project was applied for. A company out of Canada makes an inquiry. The city of Santa Maria rolls out the red carpet, starts working on the project before they received all the applications. You couple that with the Rice family, OSR Enterprises, Owen Rice. Their family had been here, I think, for 130, 140 years. They're growers. They're one of the major family landholders and farmers in the valley. 5 years ago, they started a process to try to consolidate their various packing sheds into one unit. That was 5 years ago. A company that's been here and a family that's been here over 100 years, and they haven't broke ground yet. The guys from Canada broke ground in 4 months. There are people, and I'm going to tell you something that made me mad one time. Years ago, I spoke to the Contractors Association. And after I laid out this thing about what the cost of CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, was, and how it impacted developers, and if the developers were all leaving, there was not going to be any business to contractors, a guy came up and gave me $2 and said, "Keep up the good fight." And you know what? $2 isn't going to cut it. But it's not money. The issue is there are people wanting to invest in our county, in our